Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing 90 Day UK episodes 10 and 11. But before we do, let's head into some hot goss. So this is HEA related. So Michael and Angela is now opening up about reaching his breaking point and, leaving. Michael sat down with Entertainment Tonight to discuss his life in the United States and what led to the incident in February where Angela reported him missing. He explained that he didn't feel like he could live with Angela any longer, so he decided to leave. He said, the reason why I left Angie's house is because it's very sad. I wasn't treated like I'm her husband. I was treated like I'm just a nobody. Every day we fight. He continued, it's a lot for me to leave, for me to have left. I had gotten to the point where I couldn't just bear it anymore. Although he didn't say where exactly he went, Michael clarified that there are no rideshare services in the area he was in, and he did not have another woman in his life, contrary to what Angela believes. She has to believe that. She can't believe that he left because of her. She has to believe it's because of someone else. He says, all I'll say is this, I suffered. When he first came to the States, Michael said life wasn't what he expected it to be. He said, quote, I thought when I got here, things would be better for us, but I was wrong. Things got worse when I got here. He said the couple never had sex, and Angela was always monitoring me, checking my phone, despite him telling her he blocked the woman he had been caught cheating with. So here's the thing. I guess that she would have been after filming the tell-all, so I don't know if that's what sparked it or what, but he said this was from the beginning, so I'm not sure. He said, quote, I was just treated so badly by her. Whenever she's upset, she can do whatever she wants. I don't want any issues. I don't want any bad record of my name, so I tend to keep it cool. Sometimes when she's very upset, she makes me feel scared. Let that sink in with everybody. Just in case you're on Angela's side, he felt scared. And that's a very real thing to feel. Michael also told the outlet he felt Angela, quote, took advantage of his calm demeanor and that the fact that he was coming from another country after a 7-year wait. As fans have seen, she has even gotten physical at times. He said, quote, the show didn't change her. She wants to be that way. Thinking back to Angela finding his group chat of Nigerian men looking for U.S. green cards, Michael said he was simply trying to find support for others also moving. He said, quote, it's like an attack on the part of where we come from. It's what people believe, but it is not it. If I actually scammed her for a green card, I would have left a long time ago. Now that he is finally, which is true, he comes in with a green card, he would have just left. So now that he is finally in America, Michael revealed he doesn't know what his plans for the future are because he has spent so much time on the hit TLC franchise. He said his options are up in the air at the moment. He said, quote, I'll take advantage of, me being popular, but if I get an offer from the network or any other activity or any other show, I'll grab it. I've been on TV for the past 6 years and I think I'm used to it now. He concluded, I'm working on something. I don't want to put my head in one basket, so that's all I will say. So that's that. I hope for the best for him. Really. Next piece of hot goss. So we discussed the engagement photo shoot with Joey and Kelsey. Well, they're out now. And just in case you want to be reminded, the engagement shoot was captured by Louisiana-based photographers Kirsten and Josh with Aperture Photos. The couple, who has spent the past few months traveling and sharing memories from their trips online, have previously expressed that they are leaning toward having a longer engagement. So I have all of the photos that were posted. I will post them on our socials, but that's basically it for that. The only other thing that I don't really have anything really substantial to kind of tell you here, but Larissa of Larissa and Colty, she has a new man's. He's yeah. She has a new man's. So I will post the pictures of her with her man's, and there's another picture of a tattoo that they did. I guess a couple tattoo. Yeah. So I'll post those, but that's basically it. The only other thing I want to discuss before we head into the episode is if anyone did partake in the polls that I had going on socials. I did one on Twitter. I think I did one on YouTube. I think I did one on Reddit. Basically kind of saying about the last episode we talked about with Nicole and Tar, about her kind of making interesting remark about the fact that Egyptian men who marries a foreigner can also marry an Egyptian woman after a year, and they can also do it in secret. And I was curious about what everyone kind of thought about that. If they thought the options basically were, yes, I've heard of this, and nope, she's making it up. 83% of you, I had 6 votes, but 83% of you agreed that yes, they have heard of this before, and 17% said nope, she's making it up. Someone on Twitter, I will leave them anonymous. I won't say who you are just in case you don't want me to, so I'll just leave your name off. But again, if anyone's been on Twitter and you saw this comment, then you know who this was. But someone on Twitter did say to me in the comment section, I had to Google, and turns out there is an actual law that allows a man to spread his seed legally with multiple wives. He can have one wife from another country and one wife from Egypt. Not sure where the idea of a year in secret comes in, but thought that was quite interesting. I mean, we kind of already know roughly that obviously not just Egyptian men, but Muslim men in general are allowed to have 4 wives. It's allowed. It was just the whole, if you have a foreign wife and you can marry the Egyptian wife and you can do it within a year afterwards, like it was just all of that. It was so confusing to me. And I'm like, where is she getting this from? But anyways, that's kind of that. Let's jump into the episode. So 90 Day UK season 3 episode 10. Where the hell is he? Question mark. So Charlotte and Johan. So she's headed to the airport and she's going to be headed to the DR. I have to say, what the fuck is this hat that she's wearing? It's fucking ugly. I'm happy her mom told her to take it off later. The fuck? It was so, anyways. So then we see her in the hotel. The day before the wedding, Johan has kind of organized everything with this. She hasn't had to do a whole lot. And Johan is kind of on his balcony. As she's getting packed up, she's gonna go stay at her mom's room. He's just looking like he's about to shit a brick, maybe a few bricks. And he just says, stop. He just says, stop. What? And he sounds like he is just nervous chuckling. He just doesn't look like himself. And she does kind of notice this before she leaves. And she's kind of, it's like, okay, like what's going on? But he says that he's fine. He's going to go shower and sleep. And I'll see you tomorrow. Don't be late. Don't be late. I'll say that again. Don't be late. He's going to be late. So she is at her mom's room and she says, Charlotte, take that stupid hat off. I can't take you seriously. But I like it. And her mom also says, I would be more nervous marrying you too. I would be. Because she tells her, like, Johan is probably shitting a brick. But if he does not show up, then that's it then, right? Then her gets emotional. Because, at the end of the day, her daughter's getting married. And, she is a little bit emotional. And she's like, you're still my daughter. Or she said, I'm still your daughter. And she's like, yeah, the evil one. Jesus. But her mom has also gotten married 3 times. Her dad, may he rest, has also been married 3 times. I don't know, man. Man, I at this point, I'm like, I don't think Charlotte should be marrying him. Because I don't think the odds are against her right now. And when she kind of goes in to kind of like, I guess, get a tissue or something, her mom, Charlotte's like, I didn't think she liked me that much. That's horrible. If you feel like your mom actually really doesn't like you that much. Jeez. Anyway, it's the wedding day. And, mom, sister, and friends are here. And mom says that the plan originally, in terms of picking them up, was supposed to be Johan getting like a taxi for them or something. But now it's his uncle picking them up. And mom is not happy about the change last minute. And anyways, I mean, Charlotte's hair looks nice. Her makeup looks nice. The dress looked nice initially until I realized it barely fits her. It's too short. Because here's the thing. The piece that is, because it kind of has like the piece of the dress and then has the tulle. The tulle should, how do I say this? The part before the tulle is supposed to be making sure it covers her properly. The tulle is supposed to be, it's see-through. I'm pretty sure at one point it wasn't covering her well. I think the dress was a little too tight. It's a nice dress in hindsight. Just don't know if it suited her personally. Anyway, so we're headed to the venue. I think we're doing like this train thing that I guess it takes from the room to the reception area. And she's like, I feel like a princess. So they get to the reception area. Guess what, guys? No uncle. Uncle's not there. Uncle, who looks like he's about my age. Uncle's not there. And he's about 6 minutes late. We're calling Johan. Where the fuck is he? He says, give me 5 minutes. But we don't have a lot of time. We have an appointment. We have to be there on time. Otherwise, we could lose the appointment slot. And her mom says, okay, we're giving him until 10:20. If he is not here, I'm taking you back to England. So you have until 20 after. So I think they have to be there at 11. So she's been waiting 30 minutes for him to show up, which is ridiculous. But then here he is. We are on the way. We're the uncle. So we get to the office, which is, looks like a prison. And they get there and Johan is not there. And she's calling him saying, hurry up. I'll go home if you don't get here. And everyone kind of says to her, like, we all would have been left. We all would have left by now. Like, this is ridiculous. And the appointment's at 11 o'clock. And it is 11 o'clock. And he isn't there. And she says, have we missed the appointment? And everyone is pissed, especially Mom and Charlotte. And she says, if we miss the appointment, then I'm leaving. I think you should fucking leave now, honestly. Spoiler alert. So, yeah, I think that's it for Charlotte and Johan in this episode. I'm getting confused, but I think the other part is in the other episode. So, let's move on to John and Sprite. So, Sprite has been back in Thailand for a few months. And they're talking, whatever, asking about, John's asking him about his day, whatever. And then just silence. And John is like, so you're not gonna ask me anything? And apparently he's kind of had issues with Sprite kind of engaging in conversation. It's kind of always John asking questions, not Sprite asking anything. And Sprite basically says, well, you need to be more creative instead of fighting. No, Sprite, maybe you need to be a little bit more, I don't know, engaging. Ask him a fucking question if you actually want to be with this guy. It's weird. He said, well, maybe I fight because that is the most time that we actually talk to each other. That's toxic. That's not good. What the fuck? Then Sprite says, maybe you don't have a lot going on in your life. So maybe it's like, that's why he doesn't ask him any questions. Fuck. This is supposed to be your boyfriend. And you're literally like, oh, maybe your life is not that exciting, so I just don't want to ask you anything. What the wow. So then basically they're mad at each other now, so maybe we should stop talking. Well, then maybe I shouldn't answer your calls. Okay, but Sprite is coming to the UK, so there's that. Then John meets up with his sister and he tells her about the lack of communication with Sprite. And I feel like his sister is just sick of this. She doesn't want to talk about some more. But apparently they talk for about 3 to 4 hours. And maybe of the 3 to 4 hours, they might have like an hour conversation. Okay, so here's the thing. Maybe, just because you guys live long distance doesn't mean anything. You guys have been together for X amount of years or whatever. How about we just lower the amount of time y'all talk to the hour? And then you could just not talk anymore. Or you can like text throughout the day or whatever. Checking on each other. Maybe just lower the amount of time you guys talk on the phone at one time. But Sprite is arriving today. And his place is a mess. Per usual. And it's like, where does a person put like potatoes? Well, we put ours in the fridge. So, but what I think they asked him was, what does Sprite like about your place? I don't know. He's never really said anything nice about my place. I guess he doesn't really like it. And yeah, that's true. But he is planning to propose. Jesus. He says that these knickknacks he bought are interesting. He has like one with fishes, one with a bird. I'm not sure about the other one, but I guess Sprite has complained that he has like no like knickknacks. And he puts one of the knickknacks, which is a bird, beside Sprite's side of the bed. And he says, you know, Sprite is afraid of birds. Then why are you getting him a bird knickknack and putting it beside his bed? Are you stupid? Fuck. So he's like, okay, well, I gotta go now. He's probably not gonna make it. And he might, he might get there before him. And then he runs into traffic. It gets even worse. Like, he's definitely not going to make it on time. And he's honking at this one car for a really long time. Like, long honk that I literally had to do yesterday, actually, when a motorcycle decided to cut in front of me when the light turned green. They don't have advanced green. And I had to do that exact thing to that guy because you don't get to cut in front of me because you're a motorcycle with a puck. Anyways, and he's like, fucking twat. That's what I would probably yell to the motorcycle as well. Anyway, so his flight was delayed. Thank God. So he did get there before Sprite. And this coat he is currently wearing is quite ugly. And when Sprite gets there, he does comment on it. Because at first I didn't realize it was a long coat. I thought it was just like, it kind of looks kind of like maybe similar to like a t-shirt coat. Or like I think it's what they call t-shirt coats or whatever the fuck they're called. And it kind of looked like that. But then I realized it was long. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. But anyways, it didn't look good on him, I think is what I'm trying to get at. But yeah, Sprite obviously doesn't like it. So we get back to the house. He's like, I cleaned up for you. He's like, okay, well, I gotta test it. So he literally takes his sock off to touch the ground. And he's like, it's good. It's good. And Sprite does not like the knickknacks. He's like, they're so fucking stupid. And he goes upstairs. Okay, that's when he went upstairs to see the knickknacks. And he's like, John, what the fuck is with the knickknacks? He does not like them. He doesn't. And he's like, maybe I should hide. And I'm like, why? Why are you hiding? Anyway, he's like, when you go to work, I'm throwing them out. But anyways. Okay, let's move on to Sam and Allie. So she has been in England for about a month. He is doing his English exam, and at first he's like, I didn't pass it. She's pissed because she's like, you better pass it because I paid for it. And she's like, are you fucking serious? And he's like, psych, I passed it. Good. Because she was literally about to kill him if he didn't. But anyways, so she's like, are you excited to be in the UK? He's like, I'm excited to be with you. Look, I see what you're doing, Allie. I see what you're doing. I really do. Anyways, but now it's visa time. So then we kind of see this big blanket, which actually was not a blanket, it was actually a sweater. And it's a duo sweater because here's her mom while she's on a video call with Allie. And they are going to be watching that like their favorite program. I don't want to go ahead, but their favorite program. And I'm pretty sure, just based on what was being said and his reaction, that it was that naked dating show that they did on HBO. So he is not about it, obviously. He only wants to see her naked. He doesn't want to see these people naked. And her mom's like, I'm going to put him on a sex band. You can't do that, Mom. Butt the fuck out. Anyway, then she says to her mom, well, then I'm putting you on a snoring ban because, who snores like a truck? But anyway, we're all excited for Allie to be getting there at some point, and that's basically it. That's it for them. There's not a whole lot there because we're wrapping up with some of these people. So then we have Tony and Nui. So I guess she's forgiven him after what happened last time, which I'm just like, I'm really over the storyline. I really literally only have like a paragraph, so let's get through this. He says sorry. He's like, going out, looking nice, drinking has been a part of his life for many years, which, whatever. But I gotta change, I guess. But she ends up apologizing to him as well. And it's like, what the fuck are you apologizing for? Like, really and truly, what the fuck are you apologizing for? For having expectations that he couldn't follow? Like, I'm confused. She likes London, but it's not for her. She wants to stay in Thailand. She obviously has her daughter as well. So because of this, he says, well, I guess I'm moving to Thailand. And it's a win-win for him because I guess I really truly think this is what he wanted all along. He doesn't want to live in England. He wants to move. He's like, I guess now I'm an island boy and live with an island girl. And I said, fuck you. So, because he literally said it like that. He's like, island boy. And I'm like, no, don't give those fucking kids anything. They lived in Florida. Let's move on. So, he has another surprise for her. And he's going to be proposing. That is the surprise. And not only that, we're going to the London Eye because she wants to go to London Eye. So we got champagne. And then he goes and gets the ring. And he's like, I got a question for you. And he goes down on the knee and he proposes. And she says yes. She's very happy. And he's like, show London your ring. Hey, Charles, look at her ring. Charles has some things to deal with at the moment than your new fiance's ring. But anyway, but that's basically that. They get off the eye and his sister and her family is there waiting for them to greet them and congratulate them on proposing. That's really sweet. I did like that, even though I don't like him, but I really like that. So yeah, that's basically it for Tony and Nui. And that's it for episode 10. So we're going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, we will jump in with episode 11. And I am back. So let's jump in with episode 11. You May Kiss the Bride. So Charlotte and Johan, finally, he's made it. And Hannah wants to take this time, though, to explain to her why and that it's the car. The car is the reason. And I'm like, sir, you're fucking late right now. No one gives a shit as to why you're not here at the moment. We can deal with this later. So we didn't miss the appointment. So we're jamming all of us into the small fucking room. And it's not great, but Johan's crying. And they get married. That's that. I have nothing else to say about it because it's fucking ridiculous. So it's the day after the wedding and Johan needs to go talk to his mom because her mom was pissed. He was pissed. Okay. And she says, like, so why were you late? He's like, well, there was the tire punctured. And she's like, I don't believe you. I think you got cold feet. And you know what? I think mom's a little bit onto something. I really do. In England, when you say you're going to stick to be somewhere at a certain time, you stick to that time. Well, shit. I feel like people are also late in England. That's nothing to do with England. People are late. It's not just because it's a DR thing. I mean, yes, there might be an island time. I'm not debating that. But, I mean, shit. But England's also an island. Anyways, let's continue. But she says, they're married now, so it is what it is. So Charlotte is flying back to the UK. She is going to be seeing her friend when she gets there, Maria, and she tells her about Johan being late. And just, is that kind of like not a red flag to you? Because it's supposed to be the most important day of your life. Why wasn't he there on time? And she's like, he was apologetic, and she's kind of taking that and kind of being like, well, he said sorry. What? But she said, doing the visa, it's a lot. She has to, there's a lot involved in doing a visa. You have to prove your income, you do all this. And her friend is like, well, why do you need to prove your income? What do you mean? Have you never seen a show like this before? What do you mean? And what do you mean? What do you mean? She has to prove her income because she has to prove that she can support him while he's there, while he can't work. Ma'am, even if you never watched any of these shows, common sense goes a long way. But anyway, we're getting to the meat of the segment, and it's this. So the producers are kind of sitting her down. It's very ominous. And she's like, what's going on? And they say, we have some bad news. here's the bad news, y'all. They received an email from another woman claiming to be in a relationship with Johan while he was in a relationship with Charlotte. Okay. All right. They believe it because the evidence that was provided to them from this woman is pretty damning. Text messages, photos, the whole bit. It's pretty clear he's been cheating or two-timing or whatever on Charlotte and then whoever this other woman is. Jesus. So we see her calling him to basically tell him off, like, I know everything. You have a girlfriend. You're a lying prick. Fuck you, Johan. And he basically, okay, this is great. She is feeling numb. This is after she hears everything. And she's like, he's a bastard. And her friend comes by. I'm not sure if it's Maria. And she tells her that he has a whole other thing going on behind her back. And he's denying everything. He's basically trying to say the evidence was doctored. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, for what reason? This show had not yet aired. We don't know who the fuck you are. And you think that someone thinks you're important enough to doctor evidence? Asshole. But she is gonna have a bonfire and she's gonna let that motherfucker burn her dress and whatever else she had in there. She's burning. And she definitely gets very emotional while this is happening. And you know what? Let it cleanse you, girl. Let it cleanse you. This is fucking ridiculous. And she says, I believe he took my kindness as weakness. And you know what? I think he did. But at the same time, I think you let him. But here's what I'm going to say. That's the only thing I'm going to say. Everything else is on him. But here's what I was going to say. We have a lot of proof of Johans from the Dominican Republic not being trustworthy. I think we need to stop, y'all. Stop. If you run into a Johan who's from Dominican Republic, run the other way. Chances are he's going to use you. What the fuck, man? But anyway, that's it for Charlotte and Johan for this episode. Let's talk about Nicole and Taher. So we are at the airport. We're headed to England. They're not even sitting beside each other. Did anyone else notice that? You could have tried to sit beside each other. Anyways, they land in England, in Bristol to be exact. And he says it's so cold. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And so we are in a taxi, I believe. And she just wants to make sure that he is going to love her dog. Apparently, he is not a dog person. And she has a little wiener dog, and her name is Penelope. So he has to love Penelope. It's important. And he kind of says he's already missing his family. He's already feeling homesick. And I don't want to be mean to him because I'm not saying he shouldn't be homesick, but you only been gone like a couple, maybe a day at the very most. Are you really trying to say you can't handle that? I don't know. Anyways, so we must have been in this car for the longest time because it's daytime outside. Maybe they had a late flight, or they landed late, but it's daytime. What the fuck? But anyways, they get to the house. The first thing we hear is Penelope or Yabby Dog. And her dad is so sweet. He was out there ready to greet them. He was such a sweetie. So, anyways, she has to go to work the next day. He's like, you're supposed to be home taking care of me. What's going on? But he also seems to kind of understand that she has to work. She's been gone for a bit, so she has to go back to work. So she asks him, can you walk the dog for me? He is kind of struggling to get the dog on the leash when he does have to go walk her. She's like running away from him, so he can't get her on the leash. And he says, I've never walked a dog because I don't think, he said, I've never walked a dog before. And I think he kind of knows, like, I think she's trying to make sure we bond or whatever. So he ends up taking her to the beach to kind of, get Penelope to fall in love with me because she's kind of not responding to him. Like he'll be walking and then she'll just stop. But I also think she's also probably being distracted because that's what dogs do. They get distracted. But usually, like you can kind of get your dog, like you can kind of get the dog to move with you once you start moving because no matter how distracted they may get, squirrel, you gotta keep them moving. But she's not responding to him like at all. There's points where like she just refuses to move. So this is why he's gonna take her to the beach to have her fall in love. So we're playing fetch and we're running around and he's like, you know what? I might love Penelope more than Nicole at this point. And it definitely seems to work. Penelope seems to be responding to him a bit more. And she actually meets them at the beach too. So that's Nicole does. So it's great. So we're at a pub and he's like, it's too loud. It's too loud in here. But I did question him, like, why are we at a pub? He's Muslim. He doesn't drink. And I'm going to assume because you're married to a Muslim man, he kind of expects you not to drink either, you know? But I don't know. Maybe this is the only place they can be. I know they're in a small town, so maybe this is the only kind of place they can go. And she said, you know, it's normal to drink, but, you know, everyone, sorry. She says it's normal to drink. And she's worried that people are going to, like, judge them for not drinking. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I really, truly don't think anyone gives a shit whether you're drinking or not. I really don't. I don't know where any of this is coming from. I feel like she kind of just, I think like she's projecting how she feels about not drinking onto everyone else in this freaking pub. Like, what the fuck? So she's like, can you go get me orange juice? I'm nervous to ask for orange juice. So, and he also says, like, do you think they have coffee? And she's like, I doubt that. I really do. So then basically what ends up happening, he goes to the bar. He explains to them, do you guys have orange juice? And no problem. They seem to have orange juice, obviously, because they make like screwdrivers too, right? For example. So they most likely have orange juice. And yeah, he's like, yeah, you guys have that? He's like, I don't drink. I'm Muslim, so I don't drink. He's like, do you guys have coffee? And this lovely woman is like, oh, of course. Yeah, we have coffee. I'll make you coffee. You want sugar? They're completely lovely. And he's like, I don't understand why Nicole's so nervous. They're lovely with him. And he goes back and he's like, here's your orange juice. She's like, oh, you got coffee? He's like, yeah. So we can go to the pub and have orange juice and coffee. We're good. Yeah, they're completely lovely. They don't care. I think everyone can understand that not everyone is a drinker. It's just completely blown out of proportion. So yeah. She's mentions like she's not been feeling well and she's taking a pregnancy test. She's like, I don't think I'm pregnant though, but like I'm just checking to do my due diligence. And she's waiting the 5 minutes, the tick down, the 5 minutes, which can feel like a lifetime sometimes. And she's pregnant. She's pregnant. And he feels like dancing. He's very happy. And I guess he's like touching the pregnancy test and he's touching the part that she peed on, which is like, well, I mean, technically you had it covered, so it should have protected the pee part, but whatever. She's like, no, don't touch that part. I peed on that. But he wants his child to be Muslim, which is not a shocker. He's mentioned that before, that he wants his children to be Muslim, and she seems to be totally okay with that. Like she's not, like obviously she's maybe unsure what that's going to look like when she herself hasn't converted yet, or maybe she won't convert at all, I don't know. But she still seems very understandable with the fact, he wants his kids to be raised a Muslim. That's that. That is it for Nicole and Taher. I think their story is done here. I really do. But let's move on. So we have Kathleen and Jamie. It's been a week since the whole party situation. And she keeps staring at the pictures. He says, why? Why would you ever do that to yourself? Honestly, like, I don't like Jamie. And I kind of like Kathleen initially, but she actually annoys the fuck out of me. She really does. It's really hard for me to have sympathy for you when you're literally doing it to yourself. I mean, he wasn't with you anymore. This is so dumb. But anyways, he's like, I'm going to call my mom to have this kind of all figured out, all rectified, because it's her fault. So he calls her And, we talk about Tess and, she's like, well, I invited her because she's my friend. And he's like, well, I would like you to apologize to Kathleen. And she's like, well, is she there? And she says, I'm sorry. It's my fault. It's not his fault. And he says, maybe we can stop talking to Tess and start talking to Kathleen because like she's in his life. And I totally agree with him. And it's like, I want to bring my favorite girls together. Jesus. Yep. Okay. And anyway, we finished the call and he's thinking, great, this is fixed. We're good, right? No, we're not. And he's like, do you think like you can get along with her? With like, mom, like, do you feel better? And she's like, no, don't speak to me. What? Like, is she not okay? Like, she's not okay. And he's like, well, my mom sounded positive. And she's like, I don't care. I'm sorry, but you're acting like a martyr and I'm so done with it. Anyway, Kathleen still feels uncomfortable, even though his mom apologized, she still wants more. So he says that, the way to maybe make her feel like she's a part of the family is to make her a part of the family. So he's going to go to a store, buy an engagement ring, and he's going to propose to her. The fuck? So he picks one ring that's about 680 euros, which I'm not sure how much that is. Maybe I should do a converter. So 680 euros, I'm doing this in Canadian dollars, is about $1,021.26. That's a decent amount. That's decent. So yeah, he says that's too much. So then he finds another one that I believe is about I think he said 426 euros, which is $639.79. I mean, I'm not saying you need to break a bank, but I will never say, I mean, I don't care about breaking the bank. I will literally say to my boyfriend, when you're ready, that's all in his hands. Do what you can. I don't need anything overly expensive, so I'm okay with that. But I feel like if you're trying to get like close to her, I think you should go for the $680 euro one. I really think she'll feel a part of the family. But who am I? He has to pay for it. So he said, this one's nice. So this is the one he's going to get. He's like, I could just imagine bending down on one knee and asking her to marry me with this ring. So yeah, he's like, I don't know her ring size. We can always get it resized. That's not a problem. I don't, that's not a problem. You can get it resized. So it's almost time. I'm going to be proposing in just a few hours. So he's putting money in a card for her. What the fuck? He's literally giving her a card with money in it. Like a gift. Thank you for accepting my proposal. What the fuck? Then he's at this beach and he has candles shaped in a heart, whatever. And then here she comes. And then he gets down on a knee, asks her to marry him, says like, you're the most important person that I want to be romantic with you. Who says that? Who says that? Who says I want to be romantic with you and do a proposal? That should be innate. It should be unspoken. Anyways, so I wrote here too, he looks so uncomfortable. Why was his arm so far outstretched in the way that it was? It's so weird. But he's like, give me your hand, give me your hand. And then he says like, will you marry me? And she says yes. I'm surprised. And he puts it on and it is too big, so we'll have to get it resized. And he's like, I'm such a romantic guy. Call me Jamie Romance. Never. Never, never. Then she opens the card and she is obviously happy about the money. And it's like, go buy yourself something that you want. Now, that's what all women want to hear. Not to lie. But I'm going to tell my parents. They'll be so supportive. We'll see. I mean, they kind of have no choice, so whatever. But yeah, that's basically it for Jamie and Kathleen. We have very quickly John and Sprite. It's very quick because it crashes and burns very fast. So we're at a restaurant and Sprite says, you're overweight. You need to lose weight. You need to do that. And he's literally having this expectation that John needs to lose weight in order for him to move there and actually like get engaged, whatever, have a life. That's an unrealistic expectation. I do agree with John. You should be taking him for what he is. And this is who he is. I'm not saying he shouldn't lose weight for health purposes. I'm not saying that. But you shouldn't have like this condition on him, something like losing weight. Like it's easy. What, like it's easy? I mean, I know it's, what, like it's hard? I know it's like that. But that's, okay, that's literally what Sprite's saying. He's literally saying, what, like it's hard? Yes, for some it is. And it's actually unrealistic. So he says, I want to marry you, but you need to accept me for who I am. He's like, you know, you don't do things that I don't like, but I accept it because that's you. It's like, well, then you don't care about me. That's literally what he says to him. Well, then you don't care about me. You, Sprite, I like you, Sprite. I really do. You're just a sassy bitch and I love you. But this is absolutely unrealistic. You're being unrealistic. And for you to then say you don't care, like, where did he say that? He never said that. He's like, so you have to make conditions. He's like, yeah, I won't marry you. He's like, well, then you should just go now then. You should just go now because what you're asking from me is probably impossible. Well, it's not impossible, but I don't know what his expectation is and how much he should be losing. But anyways, he's like, I should leave. I want to go back. And I guess he does. And Sprite feels like he's being close-minded. I think you both are. I think you're both being pretty close-minded at this. You're being close-minded because you will not marry him unless he loses weight, which is not like, I mean, I think it's easier for men, but he might have a condition. We don't know. It's kind of fucked. And then it's unrealistic it's close-minded for John because it's not like it's impossible for you to lose weight. You can. You can at least make the attempt. Maybe Sprite is only looking for the attempts to be started. I don't know. Or if it's like, you know, you need to lose weight. You need to lose all the weight. Like, I don't know. But I think they're both being really fucking just immature and unrealistic. But anyway, that is it for Sprite and John. And that is it for episode 11. So yeah, next we're going to be doing The Other Way from last week. Yeah, that's the next thing that's coming, which I guess technically this is a Saturday I'm recording this, so I think you're going to be getting that on Tuesday morning. So right after the last episode aired, but that is what's coming up next. And yeah. And then I think Bachelorette will be next. I'm not sure. So I'm still doing each episode separately, but you'll probably be getting next week's Bachelorette. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, you'll be getting that next. And that's it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2@hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Nicole, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube, and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, was that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.